You may be seated. Bruchim habayim b'shem Adonai miyad yakom yivaruch halakom migadol halakom v'yivarech et hakala. Bruchim habayim. Welcome. With this moment, your hopes are being fulfilled. This moment is the merging of two paths into one. Bruchim habayim. We welcome you to a loving partnership. Before we get started with the fun stuff, if you will, it'd be wonderful if you could please refrain from using your cell phones for photographing or talking purposes during the service so that we can be present here together. A moment ago, Sarah and Alana circled each other 7 times combined, signifying the walls of the home that they're going to build together in their wholeness. And now you come together underneath this chuppah, this wedding canopy, beautiful, adorned with Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al ha'arayot v'asar lanu et ha'arusot v'yitir lanu et ha'nesuot lanu al yedei chuppah v'kiddushin. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh emo Yisrael al yedei chuppah v'kiddushin. You are beloved and granting blessing. You guide our lives that we may find our beloved. You have graciously fashioned this partnership. You have granted us the privilege of marriage under the chuppah, the wedding canopy with rings, ketubah, the marriage document, and blessings. Praise to you, God, who endows the people of Israel with chuppah, the wedding canopy, and kiddushin, the sacred wedding traditions. And now as the two of you share this wine, you can each have a sip. So may you share all things from this day on with love and understanding. May life's joys be heightened, its bitterness sweetened, and each of its moments hallowed. Hopefully somebody has rings for us. The exchange of rings now takes place. The Jewish wedding ring is simple, without precious stones. At the moment the rings are presented, a special legal formula is recited and witnessed, and Sarah and Alana thus become legally bound to each other. So as you put the ring on Sarah's right index finger, repeat after me. Harei at mekudeshet li b'taba'at zo kedat mesoret Israel. By this ring, you are consecrated to me as my wife, in accordance with the traditions of the people of Israel. And now Sarah. As you put the ring on Alana's right index finger, repeat after me. Harei at mekudeshet li b'taba'at zo kedat mesoret Israel. By this ring, you are consecrated to me as my wife, in accordance with the traditions of the people of Israel. You're now welcome to take a sign. Our tradition teaches that the right index finger has a vein that runs directly to the heart, which is specifically why we put the ring on the index finger during the marriage ceremony. Now, for those of you who weren't able to join us upstairs before, excuse me, Sarah and Alana technically are already married. You're just here in order to celebrate with them, because there's a beautiful legal document that they signed earlier and had witnessed. And as is tradition, I'll read you a little bit in order to give you the gist of what's contained within so that we know what exactly it is that these two have committed to do. Revi'i b'Shabbat, v'tisha v'esrim yom l'chodesh Tefet, Shnat 5774 לבריאת עולם ממונים שאנו מונים כאן, בוושינגטון DC. אילן רבקה ואהרון ורבקה, ואומרת לשרה אסתר, בת עזרא ורחל, etc., etc. In addition to reflecting back the legal words that they just recited to each other of consecration, I just want to point out that there's some beautiful English surrounding this Hebrew text as well, that specifically includes things along the lines of cherishing each other's uniqueness and comforting and challenging each other through life's sorrows and joys. Really, with incredible depth and warmth and care, regardless of whether times are good or bad, that you've committed to each other. So I'd like each of you to take hold of this and kind of give each other a look that's like, yeah, I know, I signed that. We're going to put it back over here. I should scooch back. Now, it wouldn't be a proper wedding without the rabbi giving some sort of speech. So thank you for your attention, but this is mostly for Sarah. I want to start with a brief story shared by Rabbi Harold Kushner. I was sitting on a beach one summer day watching two children play in the sand. They were hard at work building an elaborate sandcastle by the water's edge with gates and towers and moats and internal passages. Just when they had nearly finished their project, a big wave came along and knocked it down, reducing it to a heap of wet sand. I expected the children to burst into tears, devastated by what had happened to all their hard work, but they surprised me. Instead, they ran up the shore, away from the water, laughing and holding hands, and sat down to build another castle. I realized that they had taught me an important lesson. All the things in our lives, all the complicated structures that we spend so much time building, are the same. Only our relationships to other people improve. Sooner or later, the wave will come along and knock down whatever we've worked so hard to build. And when that happens, the person who has somebody's hand to hold will be able to laugh. Sarah and Alana, today I want to talk with you about journeys. Journey can be defined in a number of ways. The act of traveling from one place to another, a distance to be traveled, the narrative arc of the entire Harry Potter series. Any course or passage from one stage of life and experience to another. Today, the journeys that the two of you have been on as individuals will continue to develop as a single entity as you're joined in marriage before family, friends, and your community. I've been blessed to have the chance to befriend you both and to learn about your personal journeys. Over the past year, I've been able to witness the effort you both put into your relationship and to experience the warmth and love that emanates from your shared home. We learn in Pirkei Avot the ethical teachings of the ancient rabbis that whenever love depends on something and it passes, then the love passes away too. But if love does not depend on some ulterior interest, then the love will never pass away. Your love for one another is unconditional, and your journey is very much about supporting one another. Sarah, Alana shared with me, you should look at her. Alana shared with me that she loves your ability to laugh at yourself, your sense of adventure, and admits to having benefited from your wicked negotiation skills. And Sarah shared with me that she loves the way you appreciate simple, everyday pleasures, your intense sense of loyalty, and the glance that the two of you inevitably exchange when hosting others in your home that is so filled with love and joy for the life you're building together. You both possess epic email writing abilities, a love of closing down restaurants, and a deep appreciation for the power of custom M&Ms. Caring for, making one another happy, and putting the needs of the other before your own is deeply rooted in your beings and is beautifully reflected in your relationship. How fitting is it that in this week's Torah portion, Bo, the Israelites finally go free out of Egypt in order to begin their decades-long journey to the Promised Land. Along the way, they'll face trials and tribulations, experience joy and sorrow, and have the opportunity to forge a new identity as a free nation. They know where they've come from, they know where they're ultimately going, and they're very much on their collective journey. As the two of you embark on your shared life together, it's important to remember that life is always about the journey and never about the destination. The two of you will have the opportunity to shape each other's lives every single day. You will love, respect, and care for one another on a journey you can't even begin to imagine. In a loving Jewish home, you'll chart a course to your own promised land. And when the time comes, you will certainly enter it together. So we now celebrate the second half of the wedding ceremony, another excuse to have a cup of wine, but mostly an opportunity now to sanctify together the portion of the ceremony here, often called Kiddushin, but ultimately, Nisumim, but ultimately we're going to offer 7 blessings in Hebrew and in English, and I'd love to invite the folks who are going to be offering those blessings to come forward now to the microphone stage, right? And I'll bring the wine to you in a moment. In our tradition, 7 carries special significance. It's a number of wholeness and holiness. It is the number of Shabbat, the 7th day, and thus the number of peace. May the 7 blessings about to be offered confer blessing on each and every day of every week of Sarah and Alana's life together.